From the BBC World Service, in association with ABC and Akashvani, this is Stumped.
Hello, I'm Alison Mitchell and welcome to Stumped. With me for the ABC in Sydney is Jim Maxwell and Sunil Gupta for Akashvani is in New Delhi. Now, the biggest and most lucrative match in cricket, India versus Pakistan, is back on after the Pakistan government ended its order for a boycott. Now, the group stage game at the Men's T20 World Cup had been in doubt ever since Pakistan's government stated on the 1st of February that they shall not take the field against India. Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has said the decision had been made to support Bangladesh, who had pulled out of the tournament when requests to have their matches moved out of India on security grounds were rejected by the ICC. Now, lengthy talks and a dose of high-level diplomacy have now resulted in Bangladesh being given concessions by the ICC and the Pakistan government directing their team to face India on the 15th of February. Sunil, how have these last few days played out in India where you are? Because the statements were coming left, right and centre, weren't they?
Well, you just said it. It was almost nothing but. There was so much talk. The newspapers, editorials, podcasts, television, social media. Because there was top-level politics, you really had to keep the chatter guarded. And that's what everybody did because you understood, the tensions and the pulls and pressures in the subcontinent. But honestly, quite honestly, as I said last time, it had nothing to do with Pakistan. It was the Bangladesh versus the ICC matter. And India, I said, about the security. And I'd mentioned there are no security concerns in India whatsoever. But I think at the back of everybody's minds, despite all the grandstanding, despite all the brinkmanship, it was bound to happen. This is a World Cup. You don't just boycott a match at the World Cup. It's been done before, of course, for different reasons, Australia, so on and so forth. But this is, as so many people have said, they've used words like the lightning rod, the tent pole of ICC cricket. Now, when you have a match as big as this, and it is big, you don't walk out very casually. So I think at the end, sense prevailed, whatever it took, ICC meetings and so on and so forth. But in my heart of hearts, I can tell you personally, I was fairly certain it would take place on the 15th of February in Colombo.
Of course, Bangladesh's security concerns were triggered by the BCCI pulling Mustafizur Rahman out of the IPL, weren't they? Jim, does it show just how important the match is to the cricketing world and the wider economics that, both the head of the Bangladesh Cricket Board were urging Pakistan to find a solution, but also, as we found out, the president of Sri Lanka personally speaking to the Pakistan Prime Minister?
Well, yes, thank goodness it's happened. I mean, the broadcasting economics was going to take an enormous hit if it didn't occur. They're talking about, $250 million worth of TV rights and the rest of it. So something had to give. And thank goodness the politicians have buried the egos and the business of face saving that goes on so much in this brinkmanship world that Sunil was talking about. So, yeah, cricket's definitely the winner with this one. So let's see what comes of the game. Hopefully it's a contest.
Yeah, I mean, the match itself, India-Pakistan goes ahead, but Bangladesh is still out of the tournament, Sunil. I mean, the ICC have now confirmed that they won't be punished for pulling out of the event and that they'll also get to host an additional ICC event ahead of the 2031 World Cup. Is that a good result for them, all things considered? Is it a bit of a sort of face-saving solution for everybody?
I think both of them, yes, absolutely. I mean, Bangladesh getting an ICC event when they were almost out of the ICC, the way that they walked out of this tournament, and the fact that, Pakistan are playing India, all the money is there, as Jim mentioned, and everything is going to be hunky-dory. Yeah, they're not playing this particular tournament, but getting an ICC tournament. I think it's face-saving for everybody. I certainly think it is a good result for the game. It is a very, very good result for the T20 World Cup because you deserve to have the big games. You honestly do. And it's really unfortunate that Bangladesh decided to pull out. They would have been a very, very good contender in subcontinental pitches. But eventually, sense prevailed, at least in one part of it. And I hope that they do get a good ICC tournament. I hope it goes well. I hope everybody plays everybody in that ICC tournament.
Well, of course, they were meant to host the last Women's T20 World Cup, weren't they? But that got shifted to the UAE, so perhaps going some way towards compensating for them missing out on that as well. It's not the ideal build-up to what is a massive World Cup match now, is it? India and Pakistan. I mean, all this behind the scenes shenanigans, do you think that will affect the players and the match itself in any way?
I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. It's too big a game. I mean, all that was happening. They had nothing to do with it. And the captain, Surya Kumar Yadav, said, we're packed to go to Colombo. And I'm sure somewhere in their heart of hearts, the Pakistan players knew they would also be going. And let me tell you something about how this match, to my mind at least, is good. Pakistan is going to come relentlessly with spin. They have now a spin quintet. And Jim will recall, and I'm sure you will too, just now Australia in Pakistan, they were taken apart in the T20s. They had spin. And if you're going to have so much spin, and I just come back to India must be careful. Though India are in red hot form, just one point of caution, that little cloud in the sky. If you look back at the 5 test matches against New Zealand and South Africa, we were taken apart. India was taken apart on their own spin-friendly wickets by the opposing spinners. So you cannot take them lightly. And I think that is what India have got to think about. They've got to come with spin, not pace the way that they used to, Shaheen Shah Afridi and all those. It's going to be 5 guys who are going to come at you with spin, spin, spin. And you've got to be able to make that actually happen for you in the field. Sticky wickets in Colombo. That's going to be a hell of a game.
Do you think we'll get a good contest, Jim?
It seems in these spin-friendly pitches, you want to win the toss and bat. I was surprised that Harry Brook decided to bowl in that West Indies game, because certainly on paper, if not in reality, the West Indies were better equipped with spin bowling. I mean, I've never seen in the last 6-8 months England so bereft of quality spin bowling, and it's showing. It's blowing up in their face. It did in Australia in the Test matches. It's blowing up now in this T20 World Cup. So you have to take that into consideration in a lot of the games that are coming up, about the factor of the toss. How important is it to be batting first?
Now, on to the most unbelievable match in the Men's T20 World Cup, one of the most memorable in T20 World Cup history. South Africa edging past Afghanistan after not just one, but 2 dramatic super overs in Ahmedabad. Now, the match itself had come down to Afghanistan needing 13 runs off the final over with just 1 wicket left. South Africa thought they'd won it with a catch, but Kagiso Rabada had bowled a no ball. Then there was a wide, plus another no ball, and Afghanistan had a lifeline. But then a run out with the scores level took it to a super over. South Africa was set 18 to win. It took a Tristan Stubbs 6 off the last ball of that super over to dramatically tie it again. Second time round, David Miller crashes 16 in 4 balls to set Afghanistan a hefty 24. That was defended by spinner Keshav Maharaj, who grabbed 2 wickets to secure the win off the final ball in heart-stopping fashion as well, because he'd just conceded 3 consecutive sixes himself. I'm delighted to say that Keshav is with us now. Welcome to Stumped. I mean, gosh, talk about a roller coaster. Have you ever been involved in anything quite like it?
Never. Funny enough, I've never played in a super over, and I got to be a part of 2 in one in one seating as such. So many ebbs and flows, so many opportunities for both the teams to win the game at various points in the game. And then, to go to a second super over, and still even there, Afghanistan was still in with the 3 sixes. But I think for us, it's a big, obviously there's a lot of things that we can get better at, but I think those small moments is what are crucial for us right now, and we need to take a lot of positives from, because previously those small moments didn't really go away, so lots to take out from them.
Well, I can say as a neutral, it was incredible entertainment, but I imagine when you're actually in it, I mean, your own emotions must have been all over the place, because the celebrations had started, hadn't they, when that catch was taken at the end of the match in real time when Rabada was bowling?
Yeah, I was standing with, I think it was Lungi at short, third man and point, respectively, and we both jumped, and then when we heard the buzzer go off, and we're like, oh, wow, okay. And then, it happened again. But look, I think that's the beauty of T20 cricket, that it's so unpredictable at times. I mean, no one intends to bowl a no ball or what have you and all those things. So it's just, it was an amazing spectacle for cricket, especially in a World Cup.
So take us to the end of the first super over when Tristan Stubbs is on strike with 7 needed to win. Did you think it was game over at that point?
Sure. Obviously, percentage-wise, to hit a 6 off the last ball, and Faisal Farooqi was bowling extremely well. He bowled that super over really well. But we always knew that Stubbo has something in him. And yeah, I think the ball before he got hit on the hand, and it was a dot ball from Stubbs. So we thought, okay, cool, maybe he mis-executes here based on just getting hit, and sometimes that can happen. And fortunately enough, Stubbo being the world-class performer that he is, got it over the ropes.
So did it feel chaotic at that point at all, or were you very calm? Did everyone know what would happen if it was a tie at the end of the Super Over?
To be honest, it was a bit of a weird one. Like I said, I've never been involved in a Super Bowl. I think it was more chaotic, just understanding the rules and regulations when we first came off the field. But once the first one happened, it was actually a sense of calm in the dressing room. And then obviously when the second one started, there was a little bit more of raw emotion that came through once David started doing David Miller things, call it. And then yeah, even when we took the field, there was a real sense of calm when we went to bowl.
It's amazing. And then a boundary off your last ball in the Super Over would have taken it to another. So did you deliver what you wanted to deliver off that final ball?
Yeah, look, it was the plan to sort of use the wicket and vary the lengths, but still go wide. Yeah, then I think the penultimate ball was a wide as well. I was like, oh gosh, I can't give a four away, yeah, because this brings another super over. But yeah, I felt like obviously with the way Gurbaz was hitting the ball, he was looking in one direction. So yeah, executed the ball that I wanted to, and luckily it went to a fielder, not for a catch, but just to stop the outcome of what could have been another super over.
And I was watching that game yesterday, and I can tell you, I had my heart and everything else in my mouth when I was watching those super overs. And I was very surprised, actually, that you were the only spinner who bowled, because it was that type of wicket where you can actually, as you said, use the wicket. And therefore, I was rather surprised what Afghanistan did. But coming back to the tournament, now you're 2 out of 2. I mean, you beat Canada, now you scrape past Afghanistan. Where do you think you are now in terms of the tournament itself? Because obviously the Super 8s are going to be coming in now. How do you see yourselves going forward, especially after this literal last minute scrap with Afghanistan?
We've obviously started on a decent note against Canada. Yesterday was a good test for us, and like I said previously in World Cups, we haven't won those small moments, and qualification became a bit of an issue. Now we put ourselves in a position where we're not exactly qualified, but almost there. New Zealand's a big game for us, but also in 2024 in the group stages of the World Cup, we've had very very close games. I mean, a one-run win against Nepal, a very close game against Bangladesh, against Sri Lanka, against the Netherlands. So it speaks to the character as to where the team's at the moment. And obviously, in games that are high pressure, you need the characters to stand up, so the ability to execute becomes a bit more natural and not restricted. We're still searching for a clinical performance in all facets of the game. If there's one standout performer yesterday, was actually the fielding and the way we fielded throughout that game. We really put our bodies on the line. Guys held their catches, made some important, crucial stops. And if you look at the last series we played against West Indies prior to coming to the World Cup, it's probably an aspect of our game where we really needed to improve. So it's nice to see that come to fruition in such a high pressure game, and high pressure because of where it ended up. But also we know an Afghanistan team what they're capable of, and I mean, seeing Gurbaz bat the way he has, I've played against him on a number of occasions, but the maturity and the level of intensity that he batted was at yesterday, I've never ever seen that from him. So, that Afghanistan side is a very dangerous side. They by no means any side that's to be taken for granted. And like they have world-class performers, especially in this format of the game.
You said these close games, and I don't want to, but I must take you back to the final of the 2024 Cup. We'll forget about it in a moment, but it was very tight. You remember that catch taken by Surya Kumar Yadav right at the boundary when he bounced out, and took that winning catch. What do you learn from situations like this? This was the game that you had almost won, and you had fewer runs, you had more balls, you had Heinrich Klaasen at the crease. What happens? Tell us what happens, that next step to go forward to get the title actually in your hands, hold the trophy.
Yeah, if you look at that game, it was a game of ebbs and flows. At one stage, we were completely written off, and then one over changed the game when Classy came in. I think he hit a 30-run over, if I'm not mistaken, and brought us back to 24 of 24. And then there was obviously that delay in play, and then Hardik came on and got Classy out. And then Jasprit came from the other side, and I think he got 2 wickets in that one over or something, if I'm not mistaken. And then I was batting at the end. I couldn't hit the ball that day. I don't know what happened to me. But
Forget that.
look, no, it happens. Look, as sportsmen, these things are going to happen. You're not always going to finish where you want to finish, and that's part and parcel of being a sportsman. In terms of those winning those small moments, I think the more familiar and the more familiar you get with winning those moments, then when you are posed in those moments, it goes your way more often than not. And like I said previously, I mean, even if it was 10 runs of 1 over, it'll probably go the other way of the first 3 balls. But now we're finding ways to win, and we're still not at our best. So, hopefully building a little bit of momentum to peak at the right time when the tournament demands it the most.
Well, Keshav, well done for holding your nerve against Afghanistan. I have to say, finally, I'm sure Kagiso Rabada was probably the most relieved out of everybody that he came away with the win. How is he doing?
No, he's brilliant. We actually, just before this, we went out for coffee. Look, no balls happen when you're running from 30 meters away as a fast bowler. It is part and parcel of the game, but I always tell him he's process driven. So in terms of his execution, I think every ball that he wanted to execute, he execute. Like I said, no balls are part and parcel of the game. No one intends to bowl it. He's a world-class performer, so it's only a matter of time before he gets the rewards and wins us a game single-handedly.
Kesh, it's great to speak to you. Thanks so much for being with us on Stumped. Good luck for the rest of the tournament.
Thank you very much, and all the best, guys. Thank you so much.
Well, that's all we've got time for on Stumped for this week. So I'll say thanks to Jim Maxwell and to Sunil Gupta and to all of you. And we'll do it again next time. Till then, bye-bye.